will call the meeting to order. Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Item 3, Agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Terry with the motion. Second. Brian with the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4, Consent Agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Terry with the motion.
Second.
Brian with the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 5, open forum. Do we have anyone for open forum? Before I read all of this?
You learned a lesson.
Yeah.
No one?
No one?
No one? Okay.
Hmm?
She said no.
I heard no, and then I thought she was questioning it. Item 6, recognition. 6A, character education word of the month. The character education word of the month for July is dependability, which includes keeping your promise and responsibility. Item 7, action items. 7A, approve property tax levy. The Finance Committee recommends the board approve the capital outlay levy in the amount of $8.315 million and establish the special education levy at the minimum statutory rate of $1.24.9 per thousand of total valuation. Do we have a motion?
So moved as recommended.
Terry with the motion,
Second.
Brian with the second. Any discussion?
Well, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but just put on the record, what's the increase from where it's at right now for the general fund?
In mills or in
Dollars.
Okay, so general fund is going to be tough for dollars on that because that's all with the new factors with the homeowners deduction. So, yeah, so the homeowners levy is going to drop from 2.518 mils down to 0.669 mils. So what we can say is we're going to levy less, and that's set by the state, but your assessed valuations of your homes may change, and we don't control that. The capital outlay will go up about 0.21 mils approximately, and then special ed will go down about a little less than 0.1, around 0.1 mils. The general fund education levy that state sets for everything else across the board, all those dropped about 0.1 to 0.2 mils also. So the state dropped the levy on ag, dropped the levy on owner occupied greatly, and then on businesses a little bit too. So all those dropped probably approximately the same amount that we're going to raise, give or take, but your assessed valuations matter where ag's not seeing much of a growth for assessed valuation as a whole across the entire district. Doesn't mean one piece is and one piece isn't. And then homeowners and businesses will be what the assessed valuations the county sets on that, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it won't be because of mill levy rate, assessed valuation,
So one thing to keep in mind with this increase, we are planning on pulling $450,000 in transfer from capital outlay into general fund to try and lessen the impact on our general fund and the amount of cuts that we had to do last year. So if you remember, we chose to do a $300,000 transfer for this upcoming year, so that we wouldn't have to cut $300,000 more last year. And then because of retirements, we had that portion in there as well that will be transferred from capital over. So part of this increase is that, but then also realize that South Dakota state law changed last year, and now we can pull our insurance premium out of capital outlay, which is going to put another $400,000 to $500,000 hit on that capital outlay fund. That is going to put some strain on that capital outlay fund if we don't start capturing some of that growth.
the number is $450,000 is our maximum transfer amount for next year from capital outlay to general fund to offset. So we didn't have to do another $300,000 plus in cuts.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? No. So we have one no. Item 7B, approve the 26-27 budget. The business office has prepared the proposed 26-27 budget for board approval. The budget reflects the district's anticipated revenues and expenditures for the upcoming fiscal year and is presented for board consideration and approval. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Terry with the motion. Brian with the second. Any discussion?
Mr. Jetting, we didn't make hard copies, so if anybody wants a hard copy other than the one you got, the electronic copy, let me know and we'll have some extra ones made. Typically hand them out and they'll come right back, so.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7C, approve the 26-27 employee handbooks and staff agreements. An annual review of the employee staff handbooks and staff agreements has been completed to ensure the alignment with the current district practices, state and federal requirements, and recent policy updates approved by the board. Recommend revisions include clarification to language, updates, and procedural expectations, and adjustments to reflect current operational practices for the 26-27 school year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with the motion. Scotty with the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9.
We don't need open executive
Executive,
session. That's a placeholder this month.
Item 9, adjournment. So, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Brian with the motion. Tim with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will reset and go to the new board meeting.
We'll do the oath of office over in front of the flag. We'll now need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
We got a motion by Terry, second by Justin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll now have the election of the board president. I will take nominations for the board president. We have nomination for Justin. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? I recommend that somebody makes a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot.
Make a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot.
Do we have a second? Second. Tim? Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, you're the board chair again.
We should let you do that more often. You're quicker at it than I am. Hearing no other.
I will make a motion to elect Aaron Odegaard as vice president by unanimous ballot.
So we have Brian with the motion.
Make a motion to close nominations and elect Aaron Odegaard as vice president on a unanimous ballot.
And a second. Lee's got the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6, school board organization items, unanimous consent motion. The following items may be approved as consent items with one motion for each. For each one, the present status of the item will be given and commented on. Any individual board member may ask to have an item removed for action as a single item under item 6, organizational items, individual action items. Do we have a motion?
Motion to accept the school board organizational items as a unanimous consent motion.
Terry with the motion. Scotty with the second. Any discussion?
Did everybody get a chance to make sure they look through these? It's time and date, board meetings, all the routine stuff that we do, official newspapers.
Adopting policies.
Yep, all that stuff through there. We can walk through those every year. If somebody has questions, we walk through those individually. If not, you can do unanimous consent for this. If there's a question on any of them, we'll just pull it out of unanimous consent.
Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7, organizational items, individual action items. 7A, designate school board member authority to countersign checks drawn by business manager. School boards have the right to designate which school board member or members, in addition to the school board president, have the authority to countersign checks in the absence of the school board president. The board may choose to retain Terry in this role or appoint a different member to assume this responsibility. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to retain Terry as the person to countersign in absence of the school board president.
So Brian with the motion, second. Scotty with the second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Our motion carries. I'm already reading 7B, which is on mileage. 7B, establish board salaries and mileage rate. State law entitles board members to receive up to the same salary as that received by the State Board of Education standards. The amount has been raised to $166 per day. Currently, the salary for board members is $100 per meeting and $75 per committee meeting. The board has been paid mileage for committee meetings not held on regular board meeting nights and for meetings scheduled by the superintendent or the board president that are not held on board meeting nights. The maximum per day payment for meetings may not exceed $166. Do we have a motion?
So background, this is last year's the first year, I think, or 2 years ago you raised this when the law changed. So
I'll make a motion to approve the salary be set at $100 per board meeting, and the approved standing committee meeting not held on a regular board night shall be at $75. Mileage will be paid for all board and committee meetings not held on regular meeting nights.
So Brian with the motion,
Second.
Terry with the second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7C, establish travel allowances for mileage rates. The district uses the state rates for lodging, meals, and mileage, except when staff members cannot obtain lodging at state rates. The actual room cost will be reimbursed. So we have a table there that shows what out-of-state travel will look like for breakfast, lunch, dinner, rooms, mileage, and what in-state travel is. Do we have a recommendation?
Motion to approve as recommended.
So Terry has a motion. Scotty with a second. Any discussion?
Do realize that it's getting tougher and tougher to get state rate on hotel rooms anywhere for that. So we are seeing those reimbursement rates higher than the state rate on that because many hotels don't honor that anymore like they used to.
So are you asking us, or are you recommending something, or?
No, I'm just
Okay.
making you aware that that's why we have that clause in there.
Yeah, gotcha.
James, can you get the picture up or not? Okay, I just,
Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7D, fiscal year 26-27, prepaid vendors list. State statute changes dictates we must list and approve the prepaid vendors list. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So Brian with a motion,
Second.
Terry with a second. Any discussion?
questions on the list that we have there for those prepays due to timing?
Does everybody understand what a prepaid is? So typically, we only authorize payment after the board approves it. There are certain businesses and certain vendors who will not wait till the Wednesday after the board meeting to receive payment. And those typically are utilities or some of those providers who have that leverage. And so we pay them as we incur those bills. The other one would be a list of contractors we might use under emergency situations to where we have a water line break or something requires us to go out and enter into a contract and pay somebody prior to the board's approval.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7E, approve the 26-27 stipend schedule. The attached 26-27 stipend schedule outlines the compensation for teachers who provide additional services beyond their regular contract and responsibilities. The schedule also includes the approved rates of pay for teachers who serve as substitute teachers during their contract day or outside their regular schedule. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Terry with the motion. Scotty with a second. Any discussion?
So we consolidate committees with this. The past committees know more for that amount. This actually does save us money by putting more burden on our instructional council, but they did go up $250 to account for that extra work. So this is a savings overall.
All right, two things. I'm going to recuse myself from this vote. And then number two, are there any changes from last year besides that one you just
That's it.
mentioned? Okay.
I will also have to recuse myself.
Still.
I will. You gonna run it then?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, since our vice president here says, we have a motion and a second on,
Mm-hmm.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What about opposed?
Opposed?
I'll help you out. Item 8, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Terry with the motion for the consent agenda and second.
Second.
Lee with the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9, conflict of interest waivers. We will start with 9A, which is Brian Voigt. Would you mind going up to the mic and tell us about your conflict?
My wife is a teacher and a coach at Sturgis Brown High School, so the conflict is I cannot make any decisions on the benefits or salary for teachers, and I'll recuse myself from all votes.
Do we have a motion to approve his conflict?
So move.
Lee with the motion, Terry with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, I will be the next conflict of interest. Leave this on. All right, I have 3 conflicts of interest. First one would be Orange Rock LLC. It's a contracting company here in Sturgis. I am the minority owner of Orange Rock LLC. My wife is the majority owner of it. And we do subcontracting for other companies in town. So sometimes I may be asked to subcontract for the district on certain jobs. Any questions?
Quick question. You're not the primary contract holder, correct?
Correct. I am not the primary contract owner or holder.
Okay. Why don't you go through the other ones?
The next one would be Mandy Bing LLC, which is known as MB Services, doing business as MB Services. They are contracted to do snow removal for the district, and I think they do other things for the district from time to time. In the winter months, I do help him with snow removal. In the past, I typically do not come on school premises. I usually do the industry park for him. If it is a really bad snowstorm, they will request that I go out to the high school and help clean up the high school. Like I said, typically I try to stay away from all school premises when I'm helping MB Services on any work. And the last conflict of interest I have is my wife works for the district as a assistant principal or an administrator. So I need to disclose that. And in any one of these conflicts of interest, I will recuse myself from being a voting member or a discussing member on any of those items.
Any specific ones that you'd like to pull out and discuss further, or do you want to approve these as one motion, all conflicts of interest? Okay,
Second.
so we have a motion on the floor to approve all 3 conflicts of interest for this. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same motion. Carries.
9C, Scotty.
Mine's really simple. I just coach middle school track in the spring, and so if there's ever anything associated with that, I guess I would just want to disclose that. Any questions?
Do we have a motion to approve? Terry with a motion,
Second.
Brian with a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing no discussion or questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 10, open forum. Do we have anyone for open forum? Are you sure? It's a new meeting. Somebody might have jumped in there. Item 11, action items. 11A, food service rates and fees. Food Service Director Rhonda Ramsdale is requesting the board approve the proposed food service meal prices for the 26-27 school year. Kindergarten through 8th grade, $2.25 for breakfast, $4 for lunch. 9 through 12, $2.50 for breakfast, $4.30 for lunch. Adult, $3.25 for breakfast, $5.50 for lunch. Students qualifying for reduced price meals will now be at no charge. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the proposed food service meal prices for this coming school year.
Brian with a motion. Tim with a second. Any discussion?
Remember, this year the state is picking up the difference between reduced meals and free costs. So all free and reduced applications will have free meals now.
Remind me, is this an increase in prices for this coming year?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11B, selection of Black Hills Special Services Co-op representative and alternative. The board will need to select a Black Hills Special Services representative and an alternative. Terry Kuntz served as the primary representative and Brian Voigt as the alternative during the 25-26 school year. Do we have a motion?
Does anybody else like to do this? I know Brian's got more free time.
Well, first of all, is anybody willing to take,
So,
Terry, would you like to continue?
Yes.
okay, perfect. And I just get a lot of emails, so I'm more than willing to fill in if Terry ever misses, which she has not.
So we'll need a motion.
I make a motion to retain Terry as the primary representative and retain Brian as the alternate.
So Scotty with a motion,
Second.
Lee with a second. Any discussion?
Thank you, Terry and Brian.
You're welcome.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And remember, now that Brian has retired, he probably is going to be in Sturgis a little more, so we can tell him.
I don't know if that's true yet or not, Justin. Slow down.
We're just waiting to figure out what that next career move is. So I'm just saying there might be some opportunities here. 11C, approve the MOU with ABC. ABC's project success coordinator will be placed as needed at Sturgis Williams Middle School, Stage Barn Middle School, Sturgis Brown High School. Project Success will provide prevention, intervention services, and outpatient services for students. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with the motion,
Second.
Terry with the second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11D, approve City of Sturgis SRO agreement. The attached school resource officer SRO agreement with the City of Sturgis reflects the terms for the 26-27 school year. The city agreed to maintain the current rate for the SRO services, resulting in no increase in cost to the district for the 26-27 school year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Terry with the motion,
Second.
Lee with the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11E, Spearfish, Faith, and Rapid City bus stop agreements. The South Dakota Legislature requires school boards in both the receiving school district and the resident school district to approve pickup drop-off locations for students within any incorporated municipality. The Spearfish School District is requesting to continue their current bus stop location on Sherman Street in Whitewood. Meade School District is requesting to continue with 5 stops within the Rapid City area schools and to continue with 1 stop at Plainview Hall with the Faith School District. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with a motion,
Second.
Lee with a second. Any discussion?
Technically, Plainview is not necessary, but we've done it for so many years for that. It's not a municipality if you've ever been through Plainview.
Yeah, it's big.
Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11F, vendor food service product. The Meade School District Food Service Department participates in buying group RCLDM, Rapid City, Lee, Deadwood, Meade. The buying group has agreed to roll over the prime vendor agreement with Cashway Distributing for the 26-27 school year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Scotty with the motion,
Second.
Terry with a second. Any discussion?
Yes, could you explain the rollover, what it is?
It's a 1-year extension of the contract that we have to work together.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11G, approve the EMC and CRC property and liability insurance package. The attached property and liability insurance package is presented for the board's review and approval for the 26-27 school year. The total premium for the 26-27 year is the $614,526.64, a decrease of $16,434.64 from the 25-26 premium of $630,961.28. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with a motion,
Second.
Terry with a second. Any discussion?
Brett, you weren't here last board or special board meeting. Thank you for the work you did at trying to get some of these things to, and Wayne, but thank you guys for putting the work in to get some of these costs down a little bit.
Yeah, we started out with a 13% increase. And I believe at the bottom of the package and some of those deals, there was kind of a narrative that they put together of what coverages that we had to sacrifice in order to get that premium down. But I do believe we did it without a large risk to the district in those areas, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11H, Black Hills Special Services Co-op Contracted Services Agreement. Each year, the district enters into a cooperative agreements with Black Hills Special Services Co-op to provide services such as speech language pathology, physical therapy, and vocational education job development. The agreement for the upcoming year will be in effect from July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Terry with a motion,
Second.
Lee with a second. Any discussion?
Realize that those costs include benefits on those employees. It's a straight just contract cost to them.
We've decreased the use of personnel over the last few years, right? We've
Yes.
hired some of our own internally, so that cost has gone down well.
Yep, we just basically moved those onto our contract with our benefits and allowed to control it that way.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11I, approve the KLH consulting contract. Superintendent Wayne Wormstead is requesting the board to accept the contract from KLH Consulting LLC for school psychology services as outlined in the agreement. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Scotty with the motion,
Second.
Brian with the second. You were talking too much this meeting, Lee, so we'll give it to Brian.
So this is, as you know, in the last two school psychs, we have grow our own. Currently, right now, we have Amy Conover, who has grown internally at that. Our second one right now is actually has to have supervision still for another year, and then she'll be off that supervision. So we have to have a licensed practitioner to supervise. That's not internal at this time. That has enough experience. Currently, Amy Conover, being a new psychologist, cannot do that. So this is the same contract that we used before with Amy Conover in order to have us get our contracted services for this. And these are our employees, but we have to contract somebody outside currently. It's been a good way for us to staff, not just that grow your own and our school psychologists, but we're doing that with two board certified behavior analysts. We're getting certified internally that promote doing that. And then also we've done the special education teachers in the past too. So.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11J, schedule school board study sessions and work retreats. The study sessions and work retreats will need to be scheduled per school board policy BDB, school board study sessions and work retreats. The proposed plan right now is Monday, August 31st, 26, Monday, November 30th, 26, Tuesday, March 30th, 27th, or of 27, and Tuesday, June 1st of 27. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So we have Terry with a motion,
Second.
Brian with a second. Any discussion?
Yeah. So just to be clear, when we talk about work retreat, we're not going on a retreat. We're like working in this building, or it's a public meeting no matter what.
Yep.
So just if anybody's watching out there, read these. I want to be clear. This is not
Next.
not a party.
We will be inside the district boundaries. We're required to have that for a work session. So
You just have to bring me birthday cake on the 31st of August. It's my only request.
Remind me, Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11K, schedule a special board meeting, gavel training. Superintendent Wayne Wormstead recommends scheduling gavel training as a special school board meeting on Monday, September 21st. Dinner will be served at 5 p.m. with gavel training beginning at 5:30. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with the motion,
Second.
Terry with the second. Any discussion?
I
Is
may
that, oh, sorry.
You
Is
were-
that the same night as coronation? Homecoming?
Yes. I would bet.
I think it is. Just
I may not, I don't think I'll be back yet. So
Oh, Scotland.
I won't be here. I don't think.
We can reschedule that later. This is the first of open date that actually we thought could work. So 1 year we had to do it in November because we couldn't find a date. I think that was my first year. If you don't want to, just vote it down and we'll schedule a different date.
Tamara doesn't know this yet, but she would really like us to do this sooner rather than later, probably. It's usually pretty helpful.
And she's actually going to go to the new board member
Oh, good.
workshop too.
And any other discussion? It is
Any other-
on coronation night.
I don't know that for sure.
Either way, we can just vote it
I think it
down
might
and
be.
move on.
It's easiest if we just vote no,
Yeah, we
and
could
Just,
if it is on coronation night, and then we'll.
find another day that works.
Find another date that works.
So
Earlier in September, and I still wouldn't have to come. Just kidding.
all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign.
I.
sorry,
So-
I was thinking the other way around. I thought we were voting it down.
So,
4-2.
so it still failed.
It still failed.
I voted no on that, just so you know.
We really screwed Tanya vote.
11L, amend school board policy JHCDB, epinephrine, auto injection, and nasal spray. Senate Bill 8 recently authorized schools to stock nasal epinephrine. Meade School District is eligible to receive free nasal epinephrine for all schools, similar to the stock epinephrine auto injectors currently available. Because policy JHCBD currently addresses only epinephrine for auto injectors, the policy should be revised to include stock nasal epinephrine. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with a motion,
second.
Scotty with a second.
Now, remember, this is not the normal way. This is because of time frame in order for us to order stuff if we need to. For this, usually we have 3 readings for a policy change, but because of state law change, July 1, in order to get anything ordered in time, we need to just change the policy so we can order that.
And we're allowed to do that because of policy.
State law change, and our policy does allow this for things like this. Remember that.
Tanya, thanks for getting that policy done.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11M, amend application for access to public records. As the district continues to receive requests seeking access to the copies of public records held by Meade School District 46-1, Superintendent Wayne Wormstead recommends the board approve the proposed revisions to the application for access to public records forms. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with a motion?
Second.
Terry with a second. Any discussion?
So what we're getting is we're getting inundated with requests from party vendors who are trying to gather information to then sell to other third-party organizations such as vendors and contracts and such. And they're asking us to go back 3, 4, 5 years worth of records in order to pull forward with that, which is very, very time consuming. I did the math on the most recent one. The person has not signed off agreed. It's going to be about 5 hours of our curriculum director's time to dig through contracts and probably 3, 4 hours within our business office to compile and send that. We don't recreate new documents because we don't have to. We have to just find them all somewhere filed away for that. It is becoming a plague on the schools. I was talking to superintendents at the governing board and everybody's seen it, and it's all the same 10, 15 companies and they're constantly doing this. The law allows us to get reimbursed for our time and effort to find this, and that's what we're asking to do for that. Now, that does not mean so our board minutes and anything we do in contracts are still available to view at no cost. It's when we have to compile that and takes time we can charge for that time. So if a citizen comes in and says, hey, I'd like to see the superintendent's contract, not a problem. Here it is. You want to see minutes from board meeting minutes and agendas and documents in that agenda packet are all available currently online, but they're all available for a person to ask for review without having to pay. Okay? When we have to find that and then send that to them, then there is a charge for that. I think their last request, was for 3 or 4 years of staff development, five years of staff development contracts, which we'll have to dig back and find, and vendors and what that all took place. So it's becoming almost a monthly occurrence now. Usually when we send them this, or the first time, it may be in my spam, and they have to reach out and maybe even by phone call to get that. But when they do, when we start telling them what we charge, we're seeing that they're not doing it because they're doing it for the profit of their company and they're trying to get off the backs of us to do that. So it's available. Just want you to understand why we're looking at this and changing the rates.
It's essentially a data grab for companies to try and get the data they need and sell to other companies. And we're short-staffed enough that our people need to be compensated for that time that they're having to do other things to provide data for other soliciting companies.
Actually, our people don't get compensated
Well-
per our contract. That money goes back into the general
General
fund.
fund.
The district's compensated for that person's time. That person's time is not paid for. So I want to be clear. It says if this is just an extra thing that I or Tanya or Beth does or whoever in the business office has to pull this together, HR, it's just part of the job, but we need to start thinking about how that gets requested.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11N, facility use fee schedule and permit to use school facilities agreement. The board permits the use of school facilities for activities in cultural, educational, civic, social, recreational, government, and general political in nature. The facility use fee schedule and facility use agreement are available upon request from the activities director or business manager and are reviewed annually by the school board in July. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Terry with the motion. Tim with the second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11O, approve West Plains Engineering proposal. West Plains Engineering has submitted a proposal in the amount of $6,500 to conduct an electrical assessment at Sturgis Brown High School. The assessment will evaluate the building's electrical service, emergency power systems, generator, automatic transfer switches or ATSs, and electrical distribution at the panel board level to determine the facility's ability to maintain essential heating systems during power outages. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with a motion.
Second?
Scotty with a second. Any discussion?
This is the third assessment that we will be doing. Last year we approved the assessment in this building and the middle school south building, and now we're moving on to the high school main campus and the academy in an effort to get our facilities to be compliant, primarily one for safety and two for competitive insurance quotes because of the electrical system aging of the things we have right now. So this is just to get the assessment, and then once we get that, we'll determine at what cost they think it's going to be to satisfy the recommendations of what the assessment identifies. And so again, this is just the assessment, and there will be probably 2 more steps involved in that to get to a point where we actually have a project.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 11P, approve multi-year iReady assessment adoption. In March 26, the board approved the purchase of magnetic literacy for the K-5 ELA adoption. This new ELA program is a partner program to iReady assessment, which is approved in April of the previous year. This action item allows the district to lock in a discounted fixed rate pricing for iReady assessment over the next 6 years as part of the district's magnetic literacy package. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brian with a motion.
Second.
Terry with a second. Any discussion?
I have Beth here if you have any questions about that.
What's
Nothing
the
like putting you on the spot, Beth?
what's the change with this over? This is basically no change, right?
Change, there we go. The pricing does not change. What it does is locks in the pricing for the next 6 years. We already had it and it was already in the budget. It does affect where it fits in the budget, but the cost is exactly the same. And then by locking in pricing, we make sure that we're not paying the annual increases that the vendors typically have. We already know we like it. We know we're going to continue using it. And this is just a practical decision.
So Brian, we have to handle it differently. We have to book it as debt and then make debt payments to the vendor. In case on the back end, it's just changing how we do things budgetary wise. Next year, you'll see a different change because you'll see it was budgeted to be individual school level, but it'll actually come out down in our debt service line item of 3.6 million. So there'll be some minor changes that affect that capital outlay budget, not so much quantity, but how we handle the accounting practice of that.
Any other questions?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12, discussion. 12A, establish a school board committee assignment. The elected board president will be responsible for making committee assignments. Attached are the standing committees for 25-26, along with the draft committee preferences for 26-27. So at this point, I will look at what Wayne sent out on preferences and then try and massage those as best as we can, because the current draft committee list has more, like 5 or 6 people on one of them, which we have to have less than a quorum per subcommittee. So those names will get shifted around so that there is 4 on each subcommittee. It will not stay the same, because that cannot happen. Any thoughts, questions?
My draft won't open, but I think I mentioned maybe in the form or the survey that if we, just keeping a lot of them the same would be nice, because I feel like we just sort of start understanding things, and just to be moved around is kind of hard sometimes. There, my draft opened.
In the last year, I tried not to move anybody unless they requested to be moved. So. $12B, bus route change requests. The Transportation Committee and Dakota Bus are in the process of reviewing received bus route change requests. The Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, July 27th at 4 p.m. Decisions on the request will be made at the August board meeting. Any discussion? Anybody want to be on transportation? I think that's one of the committees that was 2.
I'll stay on it.
Yeah, Lee's on it.
Megan.
Hey.
Put me on negotiations and transportation. I'm fine.
At some point in time.
Four days a week. Terry. Transportation. 12C, early retirement incentive payout transfer. Business manager Brett Burdett recommends the board approve the $100,000 transfer from capital outlay to general fund to reimburse the costs associated with the district's early retirement incentive payout. The capital outlay budget authorizes the transfer of up to $450,000 for this purpose. The recommended transfer amount of $100,000 reflects the actual early retirement incentive expenditures paid from the general fund. This transfer is consistent with the approved capital outlay budget and ensures the general fund is reimbursed for the eligible retirement incentive costs. And this is currently under discussion, so are we planning on putting that under some action items for next month?
Well, once we approved the $450,000 transfer out, typically these become a discussion item, just to let you know we're getting very close to doing that. The actual transfer amount is $109,500 of what's going to be paid out on the 20th. Payroll is going to go out. So once we approve that total amount maximum in the general fund,
You've
Then-
approved the budget. It's just that you're aware that we are transferring those funds as we discussed in
then
the
typically
spring.
Mr. Juddy and I will come back and say, hey, this, as we're doing this, now we're going to be doing the early retirement. Now, another example would be as we look at food services cash balance right now in our general fund budget is $50,000 to move to food service. If food service becomes unable to satisfy their obligations financially for 1 month, we will come back and say potentially we may have to move money in August as well. So it's more just reminding you that these are in the budget, and this is kind of the amount that we're going to be doing based on what you approved in the budget. So if you're comfortable with that way.
Yeah, I just read like we were going to approve it, but it was under discussion. So I got confused on maybe this should be moved somewhere else, but I knew that we had approved up to 450,000. And I know somewhere else in either this meeting or our last one today, it showed 109,000 in one of the documents that was going to be the transfer amount, but
Yeah.
it didn't reflect that here.
Once Miranda calculated that, it came out to be a little bit more than 100. So that's what will, if there's no, if you are doesn't, if nobody has any objections, then we will continue to move forward with that.
For the budget that
the
you
budget.
approved, yep.
All right, reports. 13A, administrator reports. Anybody want to speak on administrator reports?
Mr. Jennings, we're right down to where we're cutting off FY26 expenditures. Those will be our accrued ones. So now we're reviewing all the numbers in the business office, and probably in a week and a half, we'll be submitting our financials to the South Dakota Department of Education for review, with an independent audit scheduled for the first week in September. A quick fund summary of what we have right now. The general fund. We've been talking all last year about being in deficit mode. It looks like right now we're right around $890,000 deficit in the general fund. What's that done to our reserves? It's basically taken our low cash balance, which was right around 21.5%, and dropped it to 18%. So a precipitous move down in cash. We had those reserves. That's why this year it's going to be important to rely on that capital outlay transfer out to stabilize that number to where we don't get down into a cash flow situation. Capital outlay performed well. We added to our fund balance. I think I sent the finance committee out some stuff to show, based on having some money moved back in, we're able to add around $800,000 to our bottom line. But sometimes that's funny because it might be, within a month or two of when the fiscal year ends and begins. So it's in a good shape. Special education added about $60,000 to the fund balance, so about a break-even year over a $6 million budget. So those numbers will be solidified in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably come back in August with a little bit more of a formal review for the entire board. But we'll be sending that to the finance committee so they know exactly where we're at as we move forward, along with the budget timeline again for next year. So.
13B, board update. So as we look at the stoplight report, this year we are a little slim on meeting our goals. So the first goal was continuing education for board members. School board members will attend 130 hours of continuing ed. At this point, we've seen 61.82 hours, with a 33% of board members hitting 10 hours. And that comes a lot from, at the state level, the cost of attending some of the webinars and stuff that board members were attending has increased exponentially. Goal 2, community engagement. So we wanted to try and get board members out and engaging in at least 6 events throughout the year. We met, every board member went to at least one event. Actually, every board member went to at least 3 events. And we had 5 board members or 6 board members that made it to 6 events. So we were 67% on that. And then the last one was strategic planning. All board members were put into a spot to be a pillar champion. So we got all that accomplished. Where we fell off was meeting on a 90-day rotation, and it just didn't work out for us to be meeting on a 90-day cycle this year. So you'll see that one was at 0%. So we set 3 goals for this year. I don't know that we accomplished any of them, but as we go into this upcoming year during our first study session, we'll look at what we want to do as a board and set goals for ourselves to continuously try to improve ourselves, and then create that philosophy that we want to invest in ourselves to create a better district, so that all the district members, so teachers, administrators, etc., see us attempting to do something and setting goals and trying to accomplish those as well. So 13B1, ASBSD and SASD joint convention. ASBSD and SASD will have their joint convention on Thursday, August 6th and Friday, August 7th at the Sioux Falls Convention Center. The new board member workshop and board president workshop is scheduled for Wednesday, August 5th. So if anybody is interested in going to that yet, please reach out and let us know so we can get you signed up. And how many do we have currently going, Tanya? Scotty?
I think Amanda, did you see that email from her? I don't. And Tammy, either I or Justin. I was gonna call you Jason 3 times in a row tonight. Justin will, if you need to, can attend with the new board member training. Usually do that in the past, so with that, and that means you have questions as you go through, we can answer questions as you go through.
And I will be there the day before on the 5th for for the board, ASBSD board.
So I'll be there on the 5th there too for that, then new board member training.
Can we slow down for just a second? So you got elected? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations. Thanks for telling us. Appreciate that.
That was a interesting situation. So we were supposed to know by May 15th. Nothing was. I got a phone call on like the 19th, and ASBSD didn't know how to handle the situation because it was a tie. So it came down to a coin flip. And I said, "Well, I'm fine with the coin flip," and I won on a coin flip. So, yeah, but
Win's a win.
a win is a win, and I did get a lot of votes for first time running. And Tanya, that I went against, had been the incumbent for 8 or 12 years, and she was really good. So
Nice change.
13C, Black Hills Special Services Co-op.
So, okay. This time our discussion information was on education and workforce development. And I'll be just hitting all the highlights of everything that's under that. But this program is located at the Career Learning Center, which is located behind the McDonald's up on East North in an old school building that hadn't been used for years and years, and the co-op was able to acquire it and started their GED program there. So that is their main thing, because they thought in that location made it very easy for the individuals that needed that help. So they do have their GED program there. They have expanded to 5 locations. Those other 4 are across the state. They also, within that building, if you see the building, you'll go, there's no way they can do all these things, but they do. Most of the study is up on the first floor. The programs are administered from the classrooms are on the second floor, excuse me, and the programs are administered on the first floor. So they also take care of their English as a second language, and in this last year they had over 500 students. The nice thing there is Dollar General also gave them a grant to assist in that program. They also administer Project Search, which is the internship at Monument, Project Skills, which is a 2-hour-a-day work business program for people to get exposed at how to work, or if it's the type of work that they want. They also have one that's called Workforce Connections. It's a private grant, and it helps them finish their GED and looking forward to some form of higher education. They also give them the tools that they need so that they can succeed to either go to a trade school or a four-year college. They also have the community ed program is situated there, their driver's education program, and only a side note, because they were excited, they've been able to expand their driver's ed to Custer via Hermosa, with Frosty Paris accepting the position. So it was nice to have somebody from here. They also run the education component at the Black Hills Academy in Spearfish, which is ran by Lutheran Social Services, that takes care of the behavioral students that get placed in that facility. They also manage the National Farm Workers job. That one is paid 100% by the federal Department of Labor. It applies to anyone in low income, anyone that would like a future in farming, and they have their offices in Pierre, Rapid City, and Sioux Falls, and that was established back in 1998. With that, also, they have a program that's called Case Management. It also helps individuals who, for whatever reason, if they have a high school diploma or a GED, who wants to enroll in a 2-year tech or their last 2 years of college. And the support that they can assist with is helping them with rent, groceries, gas, or anything else that they need so that they can succeed at both of those options. Okay, most of their reporting, I was going to say, my writing is always bad. Most of their reporting to the feds is done on a quarterly basis. They brought that out because of so much of the fraud that's going on, that the co-op stays very accountable to where they receive their money. The part that was kind of fascinating for me, because I knew they did the testing for the GED program, and I knew they did a little bit of other testing. The part that was interesting is when they gave us the list of all the things that they test. So if you have a particular type of job you need tested, they were one of the few places that was open during COVID. So they had people from all over the country would come in and take their testing to get certification for whatever they needed. And just the ones that they're really big on, like I said, GED is their #1 thing that they do. They also do, for medical exams, dental, surgery exams, insurance, if you want to be a real estate broker or an inspector, computer certifications, both in hardware, software, infrastructure, and cybersecurity, construction and contractor licenses, environmental licenses, legal assistance, personal trainers, restaurants, their food safety exams and cross-contamination certification, engineering and architectural board exams, veterinarian board exams, Mensa administration exams. Now the next one is really unusual because it's the state federal government exams for FFA, Post Office, TSA, ATF, U.S. Marshals, Secret Service, FBI, Custom and Border Patrol, ICE agents, IRS investigations, defense acquisitions, federal acquisitions, defense counterintelligence exams, and federal government merit promotion testing. Those they had to get their high-level security clearance. Took them 9 months. 3 individuals have it. So now they also test those particular individuals. They do a lot of county deputies, city police force, any of them that need to take their exams. Everybody has to when you go into the exam room, you cannot have anything with you. They have to have proof of that. They've got oodles of regulations for all the different kinds of exams that the 3 staff have to know. The exception is if you are U.S. Marshal, Secret Service, FBI, you can keep your gun when you go in to take your exam. So anyway, that's the part that was interesting because, like I said, I knew they did their GEDs and I knew they did a few others, but they're really excited about the fact that they've got their security clearance, so now they can do all those very high profile. And they still have people from all over come in occasionally to get their exams taken. So the building has a lot. So even if you drove by, and you can go in, anyone can go in and look. You just go in the front door and say, you know, you're with the Meade District and you're curious as what they do, and they'll show you. But it is interesting that that many things can be accomplished in such a small facility. It's the McDonald's on East North, and then it goes
It's kitty corner behind it.
behind it to the north. Yep. Yeah. Those are all the things that happens in that building. along with they house their Black Hills Cooperative Insurance offices in there, and their IT repair people are also in there too. But that's not the part of, this is the part that they were discussing the other night. Yeah. You're welcome.
13D, superintendent update.
Coming back from the ASA governing board meeting in DC and meeting our legislators, I should not say our congressmen because they weren't there. We got to talk to their aides, all the people behind the scenes that do the work, and they're all about 15 years old when you see them. They're extremely young. With that, the big concern that came out is actually E-rate. FCC currently collects money from your phone bill, your cell phone bill, for that for communications, and that goes out to public libraries and schools to pay for a discounted internet service, and then also the infrastructure that makes everything move behind that. I put an attachment in there from ASA. You're probably going to see information from the National School Board Association, etc. This is a program that started in 1996, has run well for 30 years, providing services to libraries and schools. And currently, right now, the Chairman Carr, Senator Carr, and Senator Cruz think that money they should change the rules or force FCC to become a little more politicized, shocking, and then turn around and possibly push that back into appropriations under Congress's control. So right now, they actually made something that's bipartisan, that works, has a funding source that has a system to distribute this based on poverty. So if you're a really poor school, you can have access to internet and access to the backbone and everything else to create access for your kids. And not to mention, when you look at some of the things on that list, you know, it's basically the network supports our servers, our content filters, our HVAC systems, all of our security systems, plus provides the internet for students. All the stuff we do for information systems to this. We do not have a funding source for this, and every 5 years, it's minimum $250 to $1,000 plus that we receive to do this. Not counting our internet discount rate for that. That's just for the infrastructure costs. So that was the big push on that. That was the primary push. We do hear that there's probably going to be a continuing resolution for the budget coming up in October because it's a midterm year, unless one side or the other somehow figures out that they have an advantage for shutting down federal government again. But yeah, don't expect the budget to actually move forward with that. Moving forward, that was probably the biggest thing that we really pushed on. Of course, we talked about IDA and maintaining those things, special education funding, title funding that they were looked at last year when we were there that almost did get whacked for that, but we were able to get those levels when they passed the budget the same for that little bit increase in special ed. But that's a big one for E-rate that will be pretty devastating because that was primarily built for rural areas. Across the country, E-rate is for that. So that's a big one there. I'm attending the State Superintendent's Conference July 23rd. I included in here for your information attendance to 17 days for truancy to report in student handbooks so that truancy be reported. What we had gone, we had a very loose system a couple, 3 years ago. Last year, we moved that to 10 days plus 17 for truancy. If you had excused absence, what we found out is that we're averaging, our attendance still needs to get a little better, even though it is. When you look at the data and look at the national reports like from Indiana, when students miss 10%, which is chronically absent, that's 17 days in our school system. At 5 to 12, you start seeing a major decline for student success, but also graduation rates. And as soon as you get to 17 days, you're looking at a student with 17 days drops their chances of graduating from high school by 24%. This is a statewide study in Indiana from 6th grade to 12th grade, followed these kids all the way through with that. What we need to do is be a little bit more consistent on this. We still have those exemptions if we have, principal can have exemption if you have a surgery, things like that take place, serious medical, if those items take place. We still have the 5 days for state items such as the state fair. If you're going to the state fair and you're showing there in Part 4-H, there's actually a 5-day exemption built right in the state law, still in our policy. All those things are there. I linked what we're changing within the handbook, and linked also inside that is the policy JCED to refer to for that. Pretty straightforward. We're just going to be much more standard in this, an absence and absence. Okay, unless it's an excuse/exempt for medical reasons of the 4 areas. People forget that we do have in our policy is if the weather's bad and you don't think you can get your child to school or it's not safe for your child to come to school, you have a choice to call in and say, it's too dangerous for my child to come to school, and that is an excused or exempt absence according to our policy within that. So we do have those criteria set moving forward for those other items. but we are trying to tighten that up to say we're going to be in line with the chronically absent, knowing that after 12 to 13 absence, you see a severe decline in student passing classes and also graduating on time. So we're trying to align that with moving forward. Just want to make you aware of that as we move forward with the student handbook. So any general questions that I did put the link in for E-rate for there also for you, the attachment. That's just talking points on that. Expect information from National School Board Association, which we'll send out to you. Gone to the conference next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I arrive for meetings on Sunday night for that. And then I actually have a vacation the last part of the month. So you can go see Glacier. That's it. Any questions for me? Typical July fast, rapid fire meeting. And I told Tony we'd be under 75 minutes. We are.
We got 14 and 16 yet. Item 14, upcoming calendar events. July 27th, Transportation Committee meeting at 4. Policy Committee meeting at 5. August 5th, ASBSD new board workshop, new president workshop. August 6th and 7th, ASBSD, SASD convention in Sioux Falls. August 17th, school board meeting. Item 16, because we have no executive session, is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Lee with the motion. Tim with a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.